I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
I only stayed one night at Norman's farm because the old man was evicted the very next day with his daughter Matilda. She told me the story of mortgage and lack of finance and the harsh dealings of the local bigwig, Malcolm Gregory. On the very night after the eviction, Norman's farm was burned down. This was immediately attributed to old man Norman as a reprisal upon the landlord Gregory. I got Charlie Austin down and decided to investigate. Thus, midnight found us among the charred ruins of the farm. From time to time, we were almost terrorized by the dreadful howls that disturbed the night. Suddenly, we came upon the howler himself in the ruins and pinned him down.
You're right, Mr. Hicks. He's dumb, can't speak. Only howl like
something I've never heard before. All right, Charlie. Let him stand up, poor devil. Now, you. Can you hear me?
Oh, he nods.
Now, I don't want to hurt you, but I've got to find out why you were howling round these ruins. In fact, what it's all about.
Here. He's pointing to that there tin box with the empty cartridges.
Give them to him.
Crikey. Pleased as a kitten. No. Here. Blimey, Mr. Hicks. He's noticed a couple missing. Darn me if he ain't.
Don't let him know we have them. Oh, Lord. It's hopeless to do anything with him. Let him go.
God, off like a flash of lightning.
I thought he'd do that. The poor devil's scared out of his wits.
That's if he's got any. I reckon, Mr. X, that he's cuckoo.
Yes, so do I. But there's some connection between him and the burning of this farm. Charlie, let's go. Late as it is, I'll have to find Tilda Norman and see if she knows anything. I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour, Tilda, but Charlie Austin and myself have just been to the ruins of your farm.
Whatever for?
Could be curiosity, if you like. But we were under the impression that there's something rotten in the state of Denmark, as it were. And so we've come to you for a little information.
Oh, you're very kind to try and help, but everybody seems to think Father fired the farm to spite Gregory.
Yes, that's so. Does your father have a 12-bore?
Of course. I don't know a farmer who hasn't a shotgun.
Do you know what make of cartridges he uses?
Yes, I buy them for him. They're Mare, yellow brand.
Fine. Oh, extra fine. Charlie, what have you got? The one we brought away from the farm.
Mine's a Sharpfire.
So it is. I suppose you wouldn't know, Tilda, what this Sharpfire brand of cartridge would be doing in a tin box in the ruins of your father's farm?
I haven't an idea.
I didn't think you would. Now, here's the major quiz question of the night. Can you tell me how this whole village sleeps while the night is made hideous with unearthly howls?
Oh, that. Well, we've all got used to Josh, I suppose.
Josh? A sort of gypsy type?
Yes. As a matter of fact, he is a gypsy. Poor soul, he's very much wanting, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
A half-wit and dumb completely. Actually, he was only a little kid when his tribe came here. When their caravans moved on, he was found deserted.
Oh, why?
Oh, it's a gypsy custom. They believe implicitly in the evil eye. In their opinion, I suppose, the little chap had been eyed, hence his mental affliction and his dumbness. In such cases, the gypsies always cast them out of the tribe.
Where does he live? Who looks after him?
No one exactly, but strangely enough, he's attached himself to Morton Hamley at Gregory's place. He adores Malcolm Gregory.
Yes, that's so.
You seem very interested.
Why, I am. Oh, yes, very definitely. Why do you think an old curmudgeon like Gregory would tolerate a half-wit round the place?
I can't say, but that's been the situation for over 16 years.
Now tell me, why does this poor wretch howl around the place like a rattled banshee?
Have you forgotten, Mr. Fletcher? Tonight was a full moon.
The mentally afflicted... Good heavens, yes. So that's Josh, eh? Well, thanks indeed, Tilda. By the way, I have a bit of good news for you.
Yes?
Your bail endeavours bore fruit. They release your dad in the morning.
Oh, isn't that good?
Another thing, there will be no case of arson brought against him.
How do you know?
Never mind how I know, but I didn't get you up in the middle of the night just for gossip. Now, you go back to bed, sleep tight, and don't worry.
What do you know?
Never you mind just yet. You just believe what I tell you.
Somehow I do.
That's the girl. Now, Charlie, we'll go over to our own righteous though lonely couches. Good night, Hilda.
Good night.
Crikey. After being haunted all this night, I can do with some shut-eye.
Shut-eye nothing. You're coming for a walk with me.
Oh, where to at 1 o'clock in the morning?
To Morton Hamley, the country residence of one Malcolm Gregory. One of a list of 40 thieves I may have previously mentioned to you. Ready?
Aye, aye. Ready and unwilling. Lead on, Mr. Hex.
Blooming dark now the moon's down.
All the better. We may be spared the howls of that Josh bloke.
Well, that's one comfort among so few, ain't it?
Now, inside the gate. I hope it doesn't squeak. Make for the lawn.
Keep off the gravel drive. Do you think anybody'll be up?
I'm certain of it. I'm certain Mr. Gregory will be up, and I'm equally certain he'll be entertaining a visitor.
Who?
Our poor dumb bloke, Josh. You see, I think Josh has been sent on an errand tonight, and to the best of his limited intelligence, he'll try and impart the result. Come on. Yes, there's a light, but the window's tight shut. Dash it. Can't hear a word.
But you can see all right. Yes, you're right, Mr. Hex. There's that Josh bloke.
And the elderly gentleman is obviously our friend Gregory.
The gypsy looks a bit scared.
He is, too. The old man's in a tearing rage about something.
Crikey, he cracked him one. I'd like to see him do that to me.
The brute, like thrashing a dog. That poor half-wit hasn't the sense to hit back either. Yet he's about 2 stone heavier.
There he goes again. Here, what say we bust the window in and dong the old un? Oh, just one.
Not yet. By Jove, I've got it. My guess was right. Look on the table, Charlie.
My lord. Our tin box and a few loose cartridges.
Exactly. You got one in your pocket still?
Yeah, a sharp fire.
So have I. Can you see the idea yet?
Oh, blowed if I can.
Well, I'll tell you this much. You can guess the rest. The old man is tearing mad because you and I have got 2 of his cartridges.
Well, what's that got to do with it? He doesn't know we've got 'em.
True, but he's too short, and that's putting him in a panic.
He's beating Christmas out of that poor beggar. Here, let's do something.
Right. Now, you shove your elbow through the glass when I say go.
Right, elbow through glass.
Yes. Afterwards, duck back behind the hedge and leave the rest to me. Ready?
Aye, ready.
I've an idea that Josh might make a run for it when we break the window. You collar him and hold on to him out here.
Right.
Now, ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
What the devil's that? Hey, come back, you crazy fool!
It's no good yelling for that poor wretch, Mr. Gregory. He's in good hands.
Who are you? What do you mean by smashing my window, breaking into my house?
I actually didn't break your window. And so far, I haven't put a foot into your house.
Then don't.
I've no intention of doing so yet. I'm under the impression, however, you will invite me in before long.
I don't invite thieves or burglars whom I can't even see into my study. What do you want? Who are you?
Second question first. Who am I? Definitely not a burglar, although there is every chance I might shortly help myself to something. That, of course, answers in part your first question.
If you don't quickly answer me, I'll put a shot into you.
What? From empty sharp-fire cartridges, Gregory?
What do you mean?
They're on your table for all the world to see. By the way, here's a present for you. Another empty cartridge case. That accounts for one of the missing 2, doesn't it?
Where did you get this?
I'll tell you when you ask me in. What about it?
Come in and be damned to you.
Thank you. Permit me to arrange the matter of a mask over my face.
Ashamed, eh?
No, just a little bashful. Now I shall accept your kind invitation.
Where did you get that cartridge?
You shouldn't ask stupid questions, Gregory. You know perfectly well where I got it. And I witnessed your beastly attack on that poor wretch because he was only able to produce a number 2 short of what you expected.
Where's the other one?
Oh, that's going too far and too fast.
Look, you don't fence with me. I'm a dangerous man when I'm crossed.
So am I. And strangely enough, I always win.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. You asked me that before, haven't you?
Yes, well, who are you?
Permit me to present my card.
Good heavens. A feather?
Pardon me. A Grey Goose feather.
And you're this disreputable rogue, vagabond, thief everybody's looking for.
And you, oh lucky you, have found him. Your trouble, Malcolm Gregory, is that you can't do a thing about it. So now let's shut up and get down to brass tacks.
Where's that other cartridge?
You'll do nothing. Listen to me, you idiot. You fired Norman's farm.
Liar.
Ooh, such language. You did, and I'll tell you how you did it.
I'll tell you you're crazy.
No. You're mixing me up with poor Josh. You discovered, among other of his failings, he's a pyromaniac.
Maniac? Yes.
Pyromaniac, I said. Or if you aren't acquainted with the word, a firebug. You dirty low hound. You used that poor idiot to burn that farm down and allowed everyone in the village to think old man Norman did it himself.
So he did.
Shut up. He'd as soon cut his throat as destroy the thing he loved most. Mr. Gregory, anent Norman's farm, I have other theories.
Theories, a fig for them. And look here, you'll be in the county jail yourself tomorrow.
No. Kindly hand me the key of your safe.
I'll see you in Hades first.
Ooh, must you talk of such a place? Remember, I just mentioned firebugs. Gregory, the key of that safe in exchange for that missing cartridge. Well, is it a deal?
All right. Here's the key.
Right. Thank you. All right. Come in, Charlie, and bring Josh with you.
The ways of Rolland Fletcher are mostly subtle, but he's never wedded them to practice so ably as on this adventure. Don't miss the climax of this story in the next episode of The Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Threatened by the local bigwig, Malcolm Gregory as he was, I instinctively knew that old man Norman would never burn down his own farm. Charlie Austin and I made an examination of the ruins of Norman's farm and discovered a few interesting facts. We also came in contact with Josh, a dumb gypsy, and after a struggle, let him go, following him later to the home of Malcolm Gregory. Through the study window, we saw Gregory ill-treating him. The matter, of course, was the 2 missing cartridges. Then, as the Grey Goose, masked, I bearded this unscrupulous specimen, Malcolm Gregory, in his den. That's what I said, Charlie. Bring in your prisoner and the spare cartridge.
What the devil is all this?
I've told you, Gregory. The spare cartridge, which my friend has in his possession, I'll give you, in exchange for the key of your safe. This cartridge can nearly hang you, you know. Charlie, keep a secure hold on poor old Josh.
I got him, sir.
It seems you had.
All right. Let's have no more argument, Gregory. You use, in ordinary game shooting, what kind of cartridges? Mayer Yellow Band?
What in blazes has that to do with all this?
Please produce one. I insist.
Insist? How can you insist?
Gregory, you're an idiot if you can't see that your thrashings, your ill-treatment of this unfortunate dumb creature have bred a deadly hate.
Rubbish. He's the one man in this part of the world that serves me willingly.
Very well, Gregory. Prove that and you win. My friend Charlie and I have shown him a little kindness. You've only shown him cruelty. In his small mind, seeds are sown which bear fruit. Charlie, just say a word or two to your friend Josh.
Rightio, Mr. Hex. Hear me, Josh. You've a pull, see? That's the man who thrashed you, see? All right, Josh. Your friends are with you. Now go and let him have it.
No! Keep off! Call him off! For heaven's sake, Call him off!
Righto, Charlie. Let's get Josh back to normal. All right, Josh. All right. That's plenty. Well, Gregory, what about talking turkey? Or if you prefer it, Grey Goose.
Don't let that maniac touch me again.
He won't.
But just say the wrong word, Gregory, and he will. I'll blooming well see to that.
What do you want? For heaven's sake.
Just one of your ordinary cartridges. Filled. Not one of those empty ones poor Josh brought from the farm. Then, of course, the key to that safe. Now, hurry.
Here you are. A full one. And may it explode in your face.
Thank you for those kind words, Gregory. Charlie, let Josh have this.
Josh, old man. Here, take it.
Pass me that brass tray, Gregory. Thanks. Ah, yes. I see it's already powder marked, so this little experiment won't hurt it. Josh, cartridge, tray, here are matches. Now watch.
God, love a duck. He's emptying the charge. The powder out on the tray.
That's right. Now, quiet. Matches, Josh. Now watch. Yes. You like that, don't you, Josh? You like the little fire?
Oh, see him smile, blimey. What's all this in aid of, Mr. Hicks?
Yes, what does this tomfoolery mean?
Just this, Gregory. The poor half-wit that attached himself to you is a natural pyromaniac. You found this out early in his life. Then later you showed him that trick. It was you sent him to Norman's farm with a pocket full of cartridges.
I did not.
Don't trouble to lie. He, as he'd been taught to do, emptied the powder out of the cartridges, fired the powder, and so Norman's farm was burned down.
Norman burned it out himself, out of spite, because I foreclosed on him.
Rubbish. Your trouble was, the job having been done, Josh forgot to bring back the empty cartridges, your special brand. So you sent him off to get them.
Ridiculous. You can't prove any of these statements.
Oh, yes, I can. My friend and I abstracted 2 of the cartridges, and so poor old Josh brought back short measure. I've just given you 1. The other is yours in exchange for the real key of your safe. Come on. I don't repeat my offer again. Incidentally, we can open your safe any time we like without the key.
I've no doubt you're quite an expert.
You never said a truer word. That's why I didn't accept that other key.
All right. The key's in this drawer.
You fool! You utter fool! So you'd add murder to your list, would you? Charlie, see to Josh.
He's okay, Mr. Hicks. Just winged a little. Yeah, only a graze.
I estimated you too highly, Gregory. I thought you'd have more sense than that. Shoot again if you must. But before you do, let me tell you I've written out a full statement of my findings at Norman's farm and everything about you. And it's at the hotel waiting for the authorities. If by any chance I don't appear tomorrow, it'll be delivered to the chief constable later in the day. And how do you like that?
Oh, nothing but a bandit.
The key to the safe, please. Thank you. Charlie, see our friend doesn't shoot again.
With great pleasure, Mr. Hicks. Thank you, Mr. Gregory, for the gun. Yes, but first... Blimey, you've been idiot to use it again. 3 murders on your hands? Well, I never did say. Thank you.
Gregory, be wise. We have a complete case of arson against you. We may have more. It's just possible I may be able to make a bargain with you.
All right, then.
Shut up. I only said it's just possible. Now to open your safe. Good heavens. I've had more trouble with a tin of pineapple. Charlie.
Yes, Mr. Hicks.
Just put these notes in your pocket. I think I know where these can do a piece of good.
Rightio.
But keep your eye on our friends. Insurance. Oh, man alive. No less than 4 farms burned down in as many years.
Don't touch those papers.
Don't you dare move. Right. I think I've got everything, Charlie. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What a clever man you are, Mr. Gregory.
I'm sick and tired of burglars.
As I'm sick and tired of swindlers.
I'm no
Quiet
swindler.
while I speak. Apart from other farms and properties you obtained mortgages on, we'll deal with Norman's farm. Insured to the hilt. But the premiums paid by the mortgagee, he, Norman in this case, gets a bit behind in his interest on mortgage. You sell him up, you set fire to the premises and collect the insurance. My hat. What a racket.
You'll never prove it.
Don't be an idiot. Without evidence about the cartridges, the documents I just got from your safe, where do you think you'll get off? 5 years for arson, isn't it, Johnny?
Oh, no, Mr. Hex. 10.
So where do we go from here?
Don't move.
Are you willing to talk now, Gregory?
Go on. What's your bargain?
You will cancel and relinquish your mortgage on Norman's farm.
No!
Very well. Our evidence about the cartridges and these documents go to the public prosecutor.
Supposing I do agree to your terms.
I pledge you my word we'll depart, and never say another word on the matter.
Your word? The word of an old thief and vagabond?
Oh, thank you for your summing up of my credentials. Come on, Johnny. We'll move on, I think.
No. Come back. I was hasty. I can't allow this.
I didn't think you could. You agree to my terms, then?
Yes. Yes, all right. I'll sign the cancellation.
Good. And I'd also like a check.
A check?
For £2,000.
2,000?
No more and no less. Make it out to the Norfolk home for waifs and strays.
But I can't...
Sign, damn you. I've wasted enough time. This one. Right. Now this. And now the check. Thank you. Come, Charlie, we're not wanted here any longer. Oh, Gregory, just one last word. Brian Faversham may shortly be released from prison.
What?
I'd anticipate a call from him in the not-too-distant future.
Brian, you can't mean that.
But I do mean it. So watch your step. Good night. I have these papers safe, and they'll be delivered in the right quarters, never fear. Come on, Charlie. I feel I'd like some fresh air.
What the devil's that?
Father and son having an argument, Charlie.
What?
Yes. Poor old Josh is Gregory's natural son by some wretched gypsy woman.
Well, how do you know?
The safe, Charlie, the safe. Most revealing, some safes are. Josh has suddenly seen Gregory subdued after all these years of mastery. He's wakened up now. Listen.
Reckon he's getting a lamb basted, Mr. Hex?
Yes, I reckon he is, Charlie.
Mr. Fletcher, I've some most extraordinary news.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, we had a bulky envelope in the post this morning.
Oh, I hate bulky envelopes. They generally spell income tax and whatnot for me. Well, go on. Tell me the worst.
But it's not the worst, it's the best.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that's good, isn't it?
Good. Oh, it's like a fairy tale. Mr. Gregory has decided not to pursue claim for the overdue payments on Norman's farm.
What? You don't tell me.
I do tell you. And he's already making arrangements with the contractor to rebuild the premises.
Wonderful.
Isn't it strange how we've all misjudged him all these years?
Very strange. Well, here was I, hoping to help you in my very inadequate way, and...
It was sweet of you, but now there's no need for any help from anywhere.
A really marvellous state of affairs. And you're happy?
Deliriously.
Good.
Dad and I can make a clean start. Oh, it's wonderful.
As I said...
Oh, I was rather puzzled when I opened the envelope.
Puzzled? But why?
A grey goose feather fell out of it.
A grey goose? Well, how very strange.
Yes, it was. What do you make of it?
Oh, I should think Mr. Gregory didn't know he'd been so careless.
Well, after all, it's only a feather, isn't it? But I think I'll keep it for luck.
Oh, I wouldn't.
No?
No, send it back to Mr. Gregory. Or, better still, give it to him next time you see him. It'll remind him of something, I think.
And so Rolland Fletcher scores again, and another episode is satisfactorily concluded. But adventure ever beckons to the dauntless, and every challenge is laughingly answered by the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
After my sojourn in the country, where I ran into quite a piece of arson, I returned to town rather sooner than I'd anticipated. I felt that Norfolk and the contacts I'd made there might start a trail, the end of which might finish rather too near the Grey Goose for comfort. So, back to town I went. Then came a moment when, having called for Barbara Faversham, we decided on a little shopping expedition. Did I say we? However, in a certain store, we eventually pulled up at one of those counters where all the goods were displayed. Barbara, of course, picked up every piece and, to the best of my knowledge, put it down again. I do hope I'm right, because in a moment there was a sort of electronic disturbance.
Stop that woman! Stop her!
I assure you, miss, you're quite mistaken.
Oh, no, I'm not. You lifted that there pair of nylons as short as I'm standing here.
I tell you,
Mr. Williams, over here, quick, please. Now, whoever you are, don't run. It's no good, see? Mr. Williams!
Coming, Miss Wright. Now, what's the bother? What can I do to assist the lady?
Nothing, but you can assist me. She's lifted a pair of nylons off my counter. If you open her handbag, you'll find them inside. Shoplifter, that's what she is.
Oh, that's different. Very well, Miss Wright. Hand over your counter to Miss Cleaver and follow on as soon as that is done to the manager's office.
Right, Mr. Williams. Miss Cleaver, please.
You, miss, will accompany me at once.
But I assure you, the girl is entirely in the wrong. I've got nothing of yours in my bag at all.
We'll decide that point in the office. Please do not waste time. You know, I seem to have seen you before.
Well, personally, I never wish to see you nor your store ever again.
Oh, that's a dreadful humiliation for any woman to have to endure.
Yes, isn't it? Of course, she rather deserves it for being so silly.
Silly?
Yes, silly enough to be caught out.
Oh.
Haven't you ever lifted anything? In a moment of aberration, of course.
I once held myself an all-day sucker, when the man wasn't looking.
Exactly. My first offence, I think, was some apples from an orchard. Even as infants, you see, we were potential menaces to society.
And now?
Uh-oh. Don't rake that up. We are shopping and paying cash for things. But you know, Barbara, I'm a bit intrigued by that girl.
The shoplifter?
Yes. She had a face...
All women do.
...that intrigued me. A face, mind you, that didn't register a professional thief. A sort of... how can I put it? A despairing face. Yes, I have it. A face that tells you the owners had it.
I haven't got all that down exactly, but I do see what you mean.
And that wretched little counter-jumper floor-walker specimen was fairly gleaming with righteous indignation.
A loathsome type, I thought.
Good. I'm glad of that, because I'm going to do something about it.
You can't interfere.
Oh, can't I? Come with me, wench, and you'll see whether or not I can interfere.
Where are we going?
To the manager's office. Hurry. Aha, here we are. Shall we knock or just barge in?
Oh, knock. It's more polite.
Well, toujours la politesse. We knock.
What do you want? I'm very busy at the moment.
Oh, I realize that, sir. And I realize you have that woman with you, the one who...
Exactly. The one on whose account we have just summoned the police.
Well, I hate to interfere, sir, with your private or store affairs, but I feel that before drastic action is taken, possibly a version from an interested witness might help matters and save the store a little embarrassment.
Come in.
Thank you.
Now, please say what you have to say and let me be the judge of its value. We have here the woman, Nancy Wells, the pair of nylon stockings taken from Miss Wright's counter, found in the Wells woman's handbag. Even as an onlooker, you can't do much in the face of that evidence.
It does look a bit grim, doesn't it?
It certainly does, especially as this is the third time this woman's been caught.
Have you prosecuted her?
Not in the past. The store does not like the publicity entailed. But this time, I intend to get this woman jailed.
I wouldn't do it if I were you.
Why not?
Well, if you'll send her outside for a moment, I'll explain.
And let her skedaddle?
Oh, not so. Hold on to her. You can send this, gentleman, Mr. Williams, with her. Also the counter girl, Miss Wright.
Yes, you obviously have something to tell me.
Exactly. Something for the good of your very excellent establishment.
All right, Williams. You and Miss Wright, take the Wells woman into the passage and wait.
Yes, sir.
Now, sir, will you please explain?
Certainly. The fact is, I happened to witness that scene just now.
So you said a moment ago.
And permit me to interrupt you. The Nancy Wells, the culprit you are thinking of putting in jail, is no more Nancy Wells than I am.
No?
Definitely no. She's a member of a very influential family.
You don't say.
But I do say. And I'm sure your directors would take a very dim view of a prosecution in that case.
What family? Can't you be plainer with me?
Certainly. Look, I'll write the name down. There. A very sad case indeed.
Good heavens, if this is true. But wait on, sir. How do I know you're speaking the truth? You might be trying to get her away, a sort of accomplice. Pardon me if
my dear sir, you're perfectly right. Why should you take my word? Here's my card.
Oh, thank you. Sir Thomas Loveday, East Anglia Club, Maybury, Berkhampton. Please, Sir Thomas, accept my apologies.
Oh, not at all. Delighted.
I shall release the lady immediately.
And here's some money for the nylons.
Oh, far too much.
Well, in that case, what's over can go to the sales girl.
I really am grateful to you, Sir Thomas.
Oh, don't mention it.
I'll go and tell Mr. Williams and the sales girl to return to their duty and release the lady. Miss Wright, Mr. Williams, yes, release the lady immediately.
As soon as we are out, Barbara, you follow Nancy Wells. Report when possible.
Oh, thank you, Sir Thomas.
Thank you. Well, good day to you. I'm sure you'll excuse us now. Lunch appointments and all that.
I quite understand.
Yes. Well, come along, Barbara.
Is that you, Rolly?
Yes. Who were you expecting? A very old one, but generally gets a polite titter. Come in, will you? Shove the old bookcase and get in that way.
Right. Just finished changing.
Rolly, you got away with murder down at that store. Good heavens, Sir Thomas Loveday, indeed. Where on earth did you get his card from?
I had it printed. Among others, I carry round with me in various little pockets.
Oh. But supposing that manager attempts to phone those addresses, that club, Maybury, Berkhampton, and all that.
He won't. There's no such man, and no such place.
And Nancy Wells. Who did you tell them she was?
Lady Sybil wearing weir.
Good heavens.
And for your comfort, there ain't no such animal.
If you aren't just the limit.
Well, now, why I buzzed you just now was to find out how you got on. You followed Nancy Wells?
My word, I did. And what a chase I had. We went from store to store.
What?
Oh, she took nothing. I'm certain of that. I kept too sharp a lookout.
Then she was buying stuff?
Not a thing.
Then what was she up to?
If you ask my opinion, she was, spying out the land.
Casing the joint, as they say in the classics. Now, what happened later?
Well, after an hour, she boarded a bus for Clapham Junction. She stayed downstairs. I dashed up on top.
Did you see her get off?
Of course I did.
You followed, naturally.
I did. She let herself into number 17, Lavender Street, Clapham Junction. Then she went upstairs. She must have done because the upstairs light went on immediately.
What was the place like?
Oh, utterly dispiriting to look at. Decayed, unpainted. Oh, horrible. And Rolly.
Well, what?
As she let herself in, I caught a good look at her face reflected in the hall light.
Yes?
It was wrecked. Rolly, tears were rolling down her face. If ever I saw despair, I saw it then.
Barbara, how old would you think she was?
Oh, about 33 or 35. Why?
That would just about match. Do you know, Barbara, I've seen that woman somewhere before this. I wonder if it was in a police court or... No, I don't think so. Just a moment. This is one of those times when the Grey Goose goes really honest.
What's on your mind?
Confound it, that face. I've got it. Ben Ford can really help the Grey Goose this time.
Scotland Yard.
Put me on to Inspector Ebenezer Ford. Urgent, please. Thank you.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Is that you, Ben? Fletcher here.
Good heavens, what do you want?
A bit of help, Ben.
Look, if it's burglary, murder, or sudden death, tell the policeman on the beat.
Oh, stop kidding. I want to know something. I've come upon an unfortunate, and somehow I've got interested.
An unfortunate? What sort?
Tell me, does the Yard have a list of such petty offenders as shoplifters?
Well, of course. We've even got the photographs of hundreds of them. Store detectives have them, too. I'll have a look if your face is among them.
Well, if it is, burn it, will you? Seriously, Ben, is it possible for a mere civilian to have a look at them?
Well, of course, it's not my department, but I think I could arrange it that you have a look.
It's jolly nice of you, Ben. Actually, I want to have a look at someone whom I don't think will be in that gallery.
Eh? Have you any Irish blood in you, Fletcher? That's a bull if ever there was one.
Shall I say, then, I'm hoping the face that's in my mind won't be there.
Well, all right, then come along here, say, tomorrow morning. About 10 o'clock, all right?
Right. And thank you, Ben.
Fletcher, what the dickens wrong with you?
Nothing. I think... Yes, I'm almost certain I've seen a ghost.
All the nonchalance and savoir-faire seems to have suddenly left Rolland Fletcher. What sudden recollection has just crossed his mind? Listen to the next episode for enlightenment on this point when we further pursue this adventure of the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Barbara and I, out shopping, witnessed a bit of shoplifting by an attractive but rather shabby woman whom we learned was named Nancy Wells. This was apparently her third offence in the same store, and it looked like certain jail. I, however, gate-crashed the manager's office and, with false credentials, persuaded him to let her go. I impressed on him the fact that she was the kleptomaniac daughter of a very well-known family. Barbara then trailed her to her very poor rooms and came back and reported to me. Somehow I was haunted by her face. It stirred my memory, and yet I couldn't pinpoint it.
Well, good morning, Fletcher, and Miss Faversham. Well, it's nice to see you down at the Yard.
Morning, Ben, but I do wish you wouldn't sound so exuberant. You make me feel as if I were someone you'd invited down here for a hosepipe interview.
Well, as you're a voluntary caller, you can shed the chills. Now then, I gather you're interested in some kleptomaniac.
Right, Ben, and I'm anxious to have a look at your gallery, the photographs of those loaned.
Well, of course, they're not in my line of business, but I've arranged with Sergeant Hoskins to let you have a look at our etchings. But why are you interested?
I don't quite know. I'm following a bit of a nebulous clue, if you get me. Just an idea.
I don't get you, or your nebulous clue. And what's in the wind? And why are you delving into the realms of petty crime?
Well, I'll tell you. Yesterday I encountered shoplifting.
You did?
Yes. It was done by someone, a woman who made an impression on me I can't pinpoint. I may or may not have seen her before. That I can't say. But for the sake of this idea, hallucination if you like, I want to find this woman.
And you think a photograph in our gallery might stir your memory?
That, yes. But I have a feeling this woman might not be in your gallery. That will help me tremendously.
You're being very serious about this.
Believe me, I am. Very serious.
All right, then, come along. It'll take you some hours, I'm afraid. When you've finished, come back here to my office. No dice?
No, she's not in your gallery.
Then she's not an habitual.
Is that certain?
Well, no, not exactly. Your friend would have her photograph in our collection if she had at any time been convicted. But there are plenty of sinners around who so far haven't been caught.
I see.
Didn't you find a face that matched, Miss Faversham?
No, not a resemblance. You see, I saw her for quite a while in the store. I'm certain I should recognize her photograph.
Oh, looks like a blue duck, Fletcher.
By no means.
Oh, how's that?
Well, she's so far not been arrested and convicted, and that's a bit of comfort.
Oh, bless my soul. You're pleased that a shoplifter, a sneak thief, has not been caught?
In this case, I am, Ben. In fact, I'll go so far as to say I'm grateful to whatsoever gods there be.
It'd be very strange at times, old man. Well, I suppose I'll have to take no notice of your interest in this criminal, but be careful. I may have to pull you in for consorting.
Oh.
That is, if you find her.
I'll be careful, Ben. Come on, Barbara. Well, thank you, Ben. Hold it, Barbara. Listen.
That you, Hoskins? Listen. The Rolland Fletcher has just left my room. Detail a man to follow him up till midnight. And no interference whatever. No, none at all. I just want to check. Yeah. All right, see to it.
Hear that, Barbara?
I did.
Oh, most excellent Ben Ford. One of these days, you and I will compare notes. I wonder which of us will have the best laugh. Come along, wench. We're going to tour London. Have you ever been to the Tower, St. Paul's, Westminster Abbey, South Kensington Museum, Kew Gardens?
Oh, only some of them.
Good. Then you shall see them all today, and so will that flat foot of Ben's.
Lucky we overheard him, wasn't it?
Lucky? Not at all. That is strategy, or better still, intelligence.
Oh, whose?
Mine. All mine. Now, get your skates on.
Yes, Ford here. Oh, yes, Hoskins. Your man's back, is he? Good. Put him on. All right, go ahead. What? Kew Gardens? Yeah? Yeah? Speak up, man. What do you mean you're tired out? So get on with it. St. Paul's? Westminster Abbey? All right. 14 hours of here and there, hither and thither. All right. Get off the line, for heaven's sake. Oh, damn. Huh? What's that? Yes, I did say damn. Now ring off or I'll say something that'll bust your eardrums. Man, Fletcher, you're a mysterious cove. I'm not certain you're all you pretend to be. I think you'll take a bit of investigating when I've time. Now, why should you be interested in a shoplifter?
Phew, I'm tired, Rowley.
So am I. But I've had a wonderful day. Now you can write to all your country cousins and tell them all about London.
They know all about it. It's the Londoner himself that never looks past his nose.
Yes, that's quite right. Now, I can't let you go yet.
Oh, but I'm worn out.
True. Owing to that trailing idea of Ben's, we've wasted all today, but I'm going to make a search of some of my souvenirs, and I'm afraid you'll have to help.
Oh, all right. What are we looking for?
Photographs. Army ones, I think.
You've something in mind?
I have, but I'm only guessing, so far. Start on that lower drawer.
Right.
I'll look through the bookcase.
Oh, here's some pictures. From Paris, I think.
Yes, all right, you look in the bookcase. Leave that drawer to me. It's not here. I'm certain I have one somewhere.
One what?
Photograph.
Good heavens, you've got hundreds. Oh, here's a packet of army ones. Groups. Oh, here's one of you. Oh, don't you look sweet in a battle bowler?
Give me that bundle. Yes, it'll be here, I think. Yes, here it is.
Here, who is?
Corporal Wells. In a little leather frame, see?
Well, who's Corporal Wells?
Look in the back of the frame.
A girl's photo.
Yes. But whose? What girl?
Oh, it's a girl of about 20, I should think.
Go on. Who does she remind you of?
Yes, it could be. Rolly, it could be. Yes, it's that Nancy Wells, the shoplifter, a few years ago.
Yes, it must be. It'll be 12 or 14 years ago when that was taken. It is her, I'm certain.
Who is... was
She was Corporal Jeremy Wells' wife. A bride, actually. He was in my unit, killed on our first raid.
Poor little man. How did you come by the photographs?
Why, he gave them to me just before we set out. I was to give them to her if he didn't come back.
And why didn't you?
Oh, heaven knows. Maybe I was kept too hard at it, and then my own trouble came, and... So the years have gone by, and...
And now we've found her.
Yes, I'm certain of it. A shoplifter at that.
I'm certain she's not bad.
Can you wonder how her face haunted me? Of course, 12 years or so make a lot of difference, but I was certain from the first that her face was familiar.
We must give her the photographs now.
Yes. But more important still, we must help her. That shoplifting business is very serious.
There may be something at the back of it. She seems very poor.
Maybe that's it. Oh, Lord, I've just thought of something.
What?
Do you think that little sneak of a shop walker...
Williams?
Do you think he was A1? He seemed a very nasty piece of work, I thought. Didn't ring true, if you know what I mean.
Well, he did sort of arrest her and drag her off to the manager's office.
Yes, he did. It was just a hunch. All the same, I think I'll look him up. He might bear investigating. Look, tomorrow we'll pay a call to the staff entrance of that store. Maybe he'll bear a bit of following. The staff would leave about 5:30, wouldn't they?
Generally, the exodus is on the tick.
Right. We'll be there in the car. See him? It's getting a bit dark. Hope we don't miss him. Look, you take the driver's seat. I may have to follow him on foot.
I'll try and keep you in sight if you do. Rolly, quick. There he is. Look.
That's him. All right. Follow slowly. Aha. Bus stop. Westminster, Battersea, Clapham Common, Clapham Junction.
Don't tell me.
By Jove, yes. Surely he's not Nancy's number 2. Follow the bus.
He'd hardly be Nancy Wells' number 2 and have her run in, would he?
I suppose not. Look, I'll get that bus and hang on to him. You meet me, if we miss, at that address of Nancy Wells, 17 something or other.
17 Lavender Road, Clapham Junction.
Right. Wait in the car near there. I'm glad you turned up.
He's here?
In this very house. Let himself in with a key, too. I can't make it out. Come on, we'll go in. I've already got the front door opened.
I'm telling you, Nancy, that I'm getting tired of your carelessness.
And I'm getting tired of you bullying me every time I make a slip.
But you let a mere slip of a sales girl see you.
You didn't even cover up for me. You ran me into the manager.
I couldn't do anything else. In any case, what have you got to show for the week's work?
Only a dozen.
Only a dozen? Crikey, you weren't worth the bus fare. You got off somehow the other day. That toff fixed it with Briggs the manager somehow. But look here. Next time you get caught, if it's in our store, you go up good and proper.
You wouldn't dare do that.
Of course I would.
But I'd expose you.
Ah, don't be a mug. Haven't I run you in 3 times? You wouldn't be believed. Now give me that dozen and quick. And see here, next week I'll expect 50 pairs at least.
I can't do it. I can't.
You will and like it, my girl. You will, you'll
How
do it.
cue to get outside, I think. Hurry.
Yes. Good heavens, what do you think of that?
I think someone ought to be murdered. And it's not a poor shoplifter.
It would appear on this occasion that the Grey Goose has undertaken to solve a problem for sentimental reasons rather than gain or revenge. Follow the development of this exceptional exploit of the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
After an experience where Barbara and I witnessed the shoplifting by a young woman whose face seemed vaguely familiar to me, I was able to persuade the manager of the store to let her off. Then I cudgelled my brains, and, searching among my very doubtful archives, we unearthed a picture of one of my old corporals, deceased, and his wife, Nancy Wells. This was the woman who lifted nylons from a store. The wretched-looking shopwalker, Williams, we traced to her rooms and overheard a conversation that showed that he was the receiver of the goods that Nancy Wells stole. Barbara, what do you make of Nancy Wells?
I think she is well under the thumb of that shopwalker, Rat Williams. She may be shoplifting nylons, but he's in it too, demanding 50 pairs next week.
She doesn't appear to be able to resist him. Confound it. She can't be fond of a heel like that.
She isn't. She's afraid of him. He's got some hold on her, Rolly. That girl's innately honest. She's doing what she does out of necessity, driven to it.
By Williams, you think?
Yes. Shh. He's coming now. Better drive the car on. We're rather close to number 17, aren't we?
Okay, Chief. I'd have liked to trail Williams. But never mind, I've got a better idea. We'll see the lady first.
How?
Just a call. Now, come on. Later we'll go and see Mr. Williams. The twerp. Door's open still. One flight up, you said?
Yes, only one.
Right. Got your mask?
Yes.
Well, shove it on. This is one of those jobs, Barbara, in which we gain no honor or glory. We just remain anonymous. Knock gently, my dear.
Is that you again, Ernest? I'm not going to see you any more tonight.
No, it's not Ernest Williams. It's just a girlfriend.
I haven't such a thing. Sorry, I can't let you in.
I think you should. You see, I know all about the nylons. I know all about the whole setup, but I'm still a friend. I assure you I mean no harm. I'm bringing help. Open up, please.
Who are you?
Excuse our masks. We didn't wish to frighten you.
Oh, I come here masked. I don't know you. If you want to rob me, do so. You'll find this a very poor hunting ground. I've nothing.
Let me explain, my dear. We have robbed. We do rob. But this is an occasion when we don't. In fact, we bring you something.
What? What is there you can bring me?
Close the door and maybe you'll be very interested. Thank you. And here's what I've brought you.
A photo of Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
And a photograph of yourself backing it.
Where did you get this?
Through the only means it could be obtained. Given to me by Jimmy Wells himself.
But he's dead.
Yes, my dear. He's dead. 12 years ago. As to how I came by them, he gave them to me.
Who are you, then?
May I keep that information to myself for a time? Just think of me as the Grey Goose.
The Grey... But you're in every paper as a bandit, a thief.
May I refute that reputation and assure you that, as a friend of Jimmy Wells, I'm neither of those things?
But why do you come here?
Because you are Jimmy's wife. Oh, forgive me. Widow. And in trouble.
My troubles are my own. I can't let her...
And they're pretty heavy to bear. I've learnt that. Mostly consisting of nylons and Ernie Williams.
How...
Now, don't be a little idiot. I've learned all I want to know about that gentleman, and I can assure you he's not going to dictate to you much longer. I owe it to Jimmy Wells.
Jimmy Wells.
And so do you. He thought the world of you. He wouldn't like these dealings with Williams and nylons, would he?
Don't. Please don't.
Would you like to tell me about it?
Why should I? Yes, I've been lifting nylons for months.
Not because you like it, I'm sure.
No. Oh, no.
Then tell me, and give me the chance of helping you.
You mean that?
Yes, as a friend of Jimmy's.
Very well. I think I will tell you. Jimmy and I were only married 1 week. The next, he was killed at Dieppe.
I was with him.
I can hardly believe today the wreck that made of my life. I was all unprepared.
The sad story of so many.
I was only 20. The world seemed to stop. Later, as his widow, I received my pension. Then came difficult times. I had to get a job. Oh, it was one of many. Is this a usual story?
A familiar one so far. Please continue.
Then I met Williams. Oh, don't start thinking things. He's just scum.
I'm glad you think that way.
He gave me a job in a store. I pinched a little here and there. I had to. He insisted. I was hard up. I found myself obeying him. Then...
Go on.
Then shortages were discovered, and I was sacked.
You were not prosecuted?
No, I wish I had been. I wish I'd been put in prison.
Why?
Well, it was from then on Williams blackmailed me. Every job I got, I had to steal a little or be threatened with exposure. I even had to pay him £2 a week out of my pension. Jimmy's money. And £3 out of what I earned.
What a worm.
Then he decided I was more use shoplifting than in a job, and... Well, there you have it. I still give him £2 out of my pension, and up to date I'm the best nylon pincher in captivity.
Captivity's right. My lord, there are some worms about.
So you see, I'm not worth much either, as one of your victims or anything else.
That's as maybe, Nancy. But there's something else you haven't yet told me.
There's nothing.
Now, don't over-protest. Blackmail means exposure to...
The law. The police.
Not always. Sometimes to an interested party.
What do you or don't you know?
Come, tell me. There is someone, isn't there?
Yes.
Jimmy wouldn't mind, you know.
Wouldn't he?
I knew Jimmy Wells better than most. I'm certain he'd wish you luck.
Jeff wants to marry me, but I daren't let him. Williams will tell him all about me if I don't carry on.
Somehow, I don't think Williams is going to have much to say in your future, Nancy.
Somehow, I'm glad you called.
I personally am delighted. Now, just one thing. The address of the Viper.
Who?
The Viper. Mr. Ernie Williams. Just write it down, draw a line under it, then write it off and forget it.
Will I hear from you again?
Yes, definitely. I shall send you a telegram on your wedding day, signed The Grey Goose. Well, this is the rat hole, Barbara.
Rat hole's right. He's even got his name in brass on the door. Ernest Williams. Rolly, do you believe Nancy Wells' story?
Every word of it.
I'm so glad. If ever I saw sincerity, I saw it while she was telling you.
And even if she wasn't altogether truthful, I'd take up the cuddles for old Jimmy Wells' sake. However, there's no question of that. Shoplifter though she is, she's inherently honest.
I'm certain of it.
Well, now to find Mr. Ernie Williams. Let's go. Basement flat, eh? Should be easy. Put your mask on.
Down the steps, eh?
Definitely down the area steps. And mind the garbage cans.
Are we going in?
But yes. I hope for your modesty's sake he's not getting ready for bed.
I wouldn't be interested.
Now, hold your breath. I'm going to try one of Charlie Austin's keys on this door. Oh, confound that bell.
Who's there?
Only a poor old garbage tin, Mr. Williams.
Who the devil are you? Have you just left the Albert Hall ball, or what?
Forgive the masks, my dear sir. We've just come from a party and are rather enamoured of the effect. Permit us to introduce ourselves. I am I. This lady is, she. Or should I say her? My dear, meet Mr. Ernest Williams.
Pleased to meet you.
Oh, this is just ridiculous. I shall ring the police.
Do so. I've got some very good friends in Scotland Yard. They'd be very interested in all these packages. Look at them. Nylons everywhere, and not a dropped stitch to be seen.
Oh, you darn fool, you've upset them just after...
After you'd sorted them out in sizes and colours, eh? How clumsy of me.
Get out.
Oh, no. Barbara, you are now let loose among the woman's dream of heaven. Nylons everywhere. Help yourself.
Stop this tomfoolery.
You apparently have got on to something. Look, shut up about this and I'll let
You shut up. You see this? That's my fist. Feel this. That's the same fist.
Don't do that again.
You don't like it? Neither does Nancy Wells like being hounded to death by you.
What do you know about Nancy
Just
Wells?
this. She's through. Understand? Through. And so are you, Mr. Shopwalker Williams.
Nancy Wells stole every pair in this room. What do you do about that?
Just this. And this. And just one for the road. Williams, the police are going to get you for this. And your firm's going to sack you for this and that. But if you breathe a word about Nancy Wells, I shall deal with you.
Perhaps I won't. For a consideration. A deal?
A consideration, a deal. Heaven save us. All right. Here's the consideration and the deal.
It's a promise.
That's fine. I hope you'll keep it. Or I'll get at you even through the walls of Wormwood Scrubs Jail. What the devil's that?
That, my clever friend, is a lorry. Just pulled up outside. The driver is called to collect the nylons. As a matter of fact, he'll be more than useful. He may help me to collect you as well.
Slip out, Barbara. Quick, hurry. Ring Ben Ford. Don't use your own voice. Tell him to stay in his office and expect a call from the Grey Goose.
Somehow, Rolland Fletcher's good turn has turned sour on him. How's he going to get out of this predicament? The climax is reached in the next...
I have been here.
The Grey Goose. Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Somehow I grew sentimental over a shoplifter. Astounding, you think? Well, maybe. But by devious means I found out that she was the widow of a corporal of mine who was killed at Dieppe. Now she was the victim of blackmail by a mean little rat, a shopwalker in a big store, Ernie Williams. She had every chance of rehabilitation with someone she called Jeff, and that is where the dirty hand of blackmail entered the picture. Running Ernie Williams to earth, I suddenly found myself in a rather tight spot.
That lorry comes to carry away these nylons, my friend, and in one moment you won't be cock of the walk. We'll be 2-1.
Don't be a fool. What do you think's happened to my lady friend who was here a moment ago?
What?
Yes, my friend, you may well ask. She's just slipped out. She's now, I think, ringing up a friend of mine at Scotland Yard, telling him where hundreds of stolen nylons may be found. Here, to be precise.
You...
Naughty, naughty, don't say it. You'll burst a blood vessel. Look, Williams, you're in a spot. You and your lorry driver friend can hold me. But what good will it do you? The police will be here any moment from now. Call off your lorry driver and talk turkey with me. Call him off, you fool. Now, quick.
Not quite ready yet, Jerry. Hold it a few minutes, will you? I've got a visitor.
Well, make it snappy. I don't like waiting around here with the band. You never know when some nosy cop will come butting in.
All right, I won't be a minute. Now, you just talk. Explain yourself, and remember I've only got to yell once and Jerry'll come bouncing in. And then we'll be 2-1.
But you won't yell for your pal, Jerry.
No?
Definitely no. Have you forgotten my companion managed to slip out? Didn't I tell you that only 5 minutes ago she had instructions to ring Scotland Yard and give them this address? Go ahead. Jump me, you and Jerry. What good's that going to do you?
Then?
Shut up. How much time do you think you have to pack all this stuff in that lorry?
Only a few minutes. Can't be done.
Good. Glad you can show a bit of intelligence. But cut me in, and the three of us can do it double quick time.
But your Scotland Yard message...
all hooey. Come on, my friend. Yes or no? Quick now. And look at this.
A gun?
Yes, a gun. Just a very little one. Fits the palm of my hand, but it really does blow holes. Now, tell Jerry I'm in with you, and we'll get packing.
That's the lot.
Somehow I don't believe you, William.
I tell you
You're
it's the
a
lot.
liar. Show me the back room. Quick.
Hurry up.
Coming.
Coming.
Now the back room, partner.
All right. This way. Nothing here. See?
That big cupboard, what about it?
Empty.
Unlock it.
I tell you there's nothing in it.
I said open it.
All right.
A heavy spring lock for an empty cupboard?
I sometimes keep a stock there.
Open it.
There you are. What did I tell you?
Oh! By Jove, little Ernest, you did tell the truth. And how very convenient. Sleep, my little one, sleep. The cupboard will keep the light out of your eyes. Now then, in you go. And now for friend Jerry. That's going to be a little more difficult.
How much longer?
That you, Jerry? Afraid Ernie's not so good.
Fine time to be sick, I must say.
We could load him onto the wagon. Come back here and give me a hand.
Right. What's the matter with the dope?
He's suffering with the same complaint that you have. Must be something catching, I think. Now, Jerry, the cupboard for you, too. My Lord, you're heavy. I'm glad I got my haymaker in first. Right. Well, just the present of a grey goose feather in the keyhole, I think. Now for the lorry. Good. He left the ignition key in. Thanks, Jerry.
Is that you, Inspector?
Yes, Ford. Great heavens, you again?
Now, don't say it like that. I haven't bothered you for quite a time, have I?
Oh, yes, you have. Far too long. Well, what do you want me for this time?
I wish to make a donation to the police force.
Oh, you do. I suppose somebody's been robbed by the Grey Goose.
How did you guess? Really, Inspector Ford, Sherlock Holmes and Dick Tracy are the mere dust beneath your chariot wheels.
Now, look, will you cut out the funny stuff and say what you've got to say?
Right. You must excuse my little indulgence in some harmless fun. Well, now, did you receive a message from a lady earlier this evening?
Yes, I did. It was to the effect that I'd hear from the Grey Goose if I stayed in my room. Well, I've stayed. Now get on with it.
Very well. I believe that from your window you can see the main gate.
Yes, I can. How do you know?
Why, I've been in your room. But that won't help. You have so many callers, don't you?
Well, what about the view from my window?
Oh, yes. Well, standing by the gate on the embankment is a lorry. Have a look.
All right, I can see it. Shouldn't be there, I suppose, but I'm not a parking policeman.
Well, that's my gift to the police. Ask the constable on duty to open one of the parcels in that lorry.
But,
There's no driver. That is, I abandoned it 10 minutes ago. Now, just buzz that constable. You'll never regret it. Now, I'll wait.
Oh, all right. Hold on. There's an abandoned lorry at the gate. I wish to know the contents. Yes. Yes, open the parcel and let me know what it contains. Yes, at once. Buzz me back immediately.
Thank you, Inspector. You're going to enjoy this, I assure you. A pity you haven't got a girlfriend.
What's that got to do with the lorry? All right, hold it. That you, Gate? Good. You have? What's that? A lorry full of nylons? I'm jiggered. All right, bring it inside the gate and put a duty man in charge. I'll be down later. What did you say? A feather stuck in the ignition key? Well,
Well, Inspector?
Well, you've certainly made us a present. Confound your feathers and you, too. I suppose you didn't steal them.
What? Rob the ladies? Not I. But I do know those who did.
Friends of yours?
Should you ask them, I think the answer will be a very definite negative. I can, however, introduce you to them.
When?
Immediately. Just take a couple of your men along to 11 Byron Grove. just off Clapham Common.
Well?
They'll be waiting for you.
Crooks don't wait for the police to call.
These crooks will. They're slightly different. You'll find them in a big cupboard in the back room. Oh, I left the front door open for you. By the way, those nylons might do some of your police boys a bit of good. You can be sure the original owners won't be able to claim them. Good night.
Wait. Confound him, he's hung up. Oh, well, acting on information received, I'd better go and look up our friends in Byron Grove.
The fact is, Barbara, I'm a bit worried about this nylon business.
But why? The police have the nylons. They've also got Ernie Williams and the man Jerry. Everything's more or less concluded.
More or less. Very indefinite. You see, Barbara, Ernie Williams will squeal when it comes to his trial.
What can he squeal about?
His accomplice.
Accomplice?
Yes. Coerced as she was, Nancy Wells is completely involved. Actually, she's the thief. He's the receiver of stolen goods. Strictly speaking, he's the accomplice. If Ernie squeals, and I'm certain he will, she'll have it coming to her.
Then you've done no good.
Well, I've removed the menace of Ernie Williams. He'll get a few years, and he can't threaten her or blackmail her while he's in prison. So far, so good. By the way, she's coming round tonight.
Is that safe for you?
Oh, yes. I'm positive she can't betray me, or rather, wouldn't. But I'm a little perturbed about Ben Ford rather than Nancy.
Why?
He knows I was interested in a shoplifter. If this rat Ernie Williams does squeal, Ben might put a few nylons together. Add 'em up, plus Nancy, plus me, equals the Grey Goose. It's on the cards. Ben's no dope.
Someone coming down the passage.
No need to worry. It's Nancy, I think. I told you she was coming round here. I'll go. Sit tight. Put your mask on, and ditto me. Oh, come in, Nancy.
Thank you.
You two ladies have met before?
Yes. And believe me, there's no need to wear those masks.
I really didn't think there was. All right, Barbara. Unveil.
Believe me, I'll never betray you, whatever happens.
Thank you, my dear.
With the certain conviction of Ernie Williams...
Which is certain.
Yes. With him in jail or out of jail, I'm safe. I acted on your advice. I told Jeff everything.
Good girl. Much the best way.
But there is still a possibility I may be arrested. Ernie'll see to that.
We were just discussing that.
Geoffrey has said that even if I do become involved, as far even as prison, he'll not alter. He'll wait for me.
We must fix it so that he doesn't have to.
How can that be done?
Nancy, have you recently been on the continent?
Oh, not for 3 years. Why?
You still have a passport, then?
Of course.
Then that's the solution. 4 days before Ernie and Co. come up for trial, just time to get a visa for France. What's wrong with you and your Geoffrey taking a honeymoon?
Oh, it could be arranged.
Then that's it. Get away before the trial. Missing witness and all that.
Someone in the passage.
Nancy, sit quiet. Stay put. Coming! Why, Inspector Ford?
The police.
Shh. Stay put, as he said.
On my way home. Got a drink? I've had a whale of a day.
Inspector, let me present Mrs. Wells.
Ah, you must have heard of her.
Must I? I beg your pardon, Mrs. Wells, but my ignorance of famous people is prodigious.
Mrs. Wells is not exactly famous, but she very nearly was. However, she's giving up and going abroad immediately.
Yes.
And what line did you pursue, Mrs. Wells, if I may ask?
Don't be bashful, Mrs. Wells.
The adornment, Inspector, of the female form.
Oh, yes? Oh, I get it. Corsets, eh?
In sentimental mood, Rolland Fletcher has faced almost certain exposure, but evaded it in the long run. What further adventure lies in wait for the Grey Goose?
I have been here.
The Grey Goose. Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
For the sake of a memory of an old comrade, I indulged in a sentimental episode. And I wasn't too certain it didn't put a little idea into my friend Inspector Ford's mind. However, nothing transpired in that direction which threatened the exposure of the Grey Goose. Then came an evening when I had a nice little profitable affair in mind, so I buzzed Barbara. Barbara, shove the old bookcase and come in, will you? All is silence. You there, Barbara? Strange. Can't be out. Said she'd wait till I buzzed. Better shove the bookcase from my side and explore. All in darkness. Barbara! Barbara! Obviously out. Well, let's have a bit of light on the subject. All tidy. Nothing amiss, apparently. Wait on. A note. Rowley, see attached. Have decided to keep appointment. What appointment? Oh, wait on. Attached. What's the attached? Agony column. Barbara Faversham, if you see this, news of Brian, to his advantage you meet friends. My hat, friends. At coffee store below end of Westminster Bridge, 9 p.m. Thursday. Notice will appear each consecutive night for the same time and place. Well, I'm dashed. Thought she'd have more sense. Now what has she walked into? And how can I get to her? Just on 9 now. I know. I'll get Charlie Austin to come along with me. Well, you know most of the story, Charlie. Barbara is on the trail of the members of a syndicate who left her father, Brian, to carry a baby that got him 12 years. Now, this message in the agony column of tonight's paper attracted her attention, and she's gone off to keep the appointment.
My motto is never read the agony column. Never. There's too much agony.
You're probably right. The fact is, she's gone to meet whoever it is at 9 o'clock, and it's now nearly past.
Running into danger, that's what.
I'm certain of it. This may be a forlorn hope, but we'll try the coffee stall first. See if we can gather a clue there.
I know Herb Smithers, the bloke what owns the stall. Here, pull up, here we are. Reckon we can order a cup of coffee, eh?
Right, we will.
Cup of the brown herb, and one for me friend.
What's your Charlie, lad? Hey, on, 2 extra special. Blimey, keeping swell company, eh?
A friend of mine. This is Herb.
Glad to meet you, Herb. The coffee's fine.
Busy tonight?
Nah, not as yet. Between 11 and 12's my best time when the swells are through with the pictures and theatres and such. Funny, though, I did have a swell lady here and a gent about half an hour ago.
A lady, eh? Well-dressed?
She wouldn't be no lady if she wasn't well-dressed. Now, would she, sir?
I think you've got something there, Herb. Did she have a cup of coffee?
She did too. And a sandwich.
Did her boyfriend eat or drink?
Nah. He was high and mighty. He seemed in a hurry to get away. Said they got to get to Dorking in a hurry. Lady said Dorking could wait.
Dorking? A bit of a long way at night. What was the lady like? Blonde, I suppose?
No, sir. She was fairly dark. A bit on the tall side, too. Funny thing, you know. She asked me for one of them toothpicks.
What?
Toothpicks. I don't have them Chinese stick things, only them quill things, like in that glass over there. Well, she saw 'em in there, and she said she hadn't seen any in years. Then the lady took a dozen of the toothpicks and paid for 'em. Handsome, too.
Well, Charlie, we'll be moving on, I think. Good night, Herb. The coffee was top hole. Thank you.
You're welcome, I'm sure, sir.
Clever girl, our Barbara. Saw a chance and took it. Get in the car, Charlie.
Well, I ain't got it, Mr. Hicks.
Haven't you? Look, Charlie, Barbara, to my mind, was not very impressed with the gentleman who met her at the coffee stall.
That might be the idea.
Check. She delays him by demanding a sandwich and coffee.
Hoping you'd turn up, I suppose.
Of course, but she can't stall forever. Suddenly, she sees those toothpicks. Old-fashioned quill ones.
Crikey. Quills. Feathers. I get it. Clever girl, as you says.
This is how I think her mind worked. She'd try to indicate which direction she was bound for.
Would this bloke tell her?
He probably would. But I'm convinced she wasn't feeling very comfortable, and knowing, or at any rate surmising, that I'd follow her, she'd tried to lay some sort of trail. Then, luckily, your friend Herb overheard the impatient one say Dorking.
She wasn't to know Herb would mention that.
In the ordinary way, no. But she'd realise I'd make some judicious inquiries, during which, in all probability, the name would come out.
Oh, a lot of guessing.
True, a lot of guessing, but a lot of possibilities.
Why should she take a dozen of them quills?
Markers, Charlie. Markers. If they stop anywhere, it's my belief we'll find a quill to guide us. Come on, Dorking or bust, stopping every likely place on the way.
Outside the 20-mile limit, Mr. Hicks. We'll be blotto.
That place hasn't had a car call since 7 o'clock. Another blank, Charlie. No quills.
Big Packard stopped for a can of water at this cottage, the bloke says.
Where's the can?
Just inside the gate.
Fetch it, quick.
Here it is.
Anything inside?
Blimey, yes. A quill.
Ah! First chance she had, apparently.
Suppose they stopped here and didn't go on.
By Jove, yes. Dorking might have been just a blind. We don't know for certain. Cast around, Charlie. Shine your torch. I've an idea if they've gone on from here, Barbara would do something about it. Leave some pointer.
Mr. Hicks, here's another quill.
Where? Ah, I see. Fixed in the wire of the gate.
It's fixed and pointing on. I mean, the point's in the forward direction.
It is, too. If we don't come across another, we'll carry on to Dorking.
She's pretty thorough, isn't she?
Ah, she certainly is.
I wonder how she managed to dodge the bloke.
Oh, easy. While he was getting the water, she'd fix that quill in the fence, and she'd have a pretty good chance of dropping the quill in the can. All right. Come on, Charlie. On again. Well, we haven't passed a house or a pub on the road for some time, and we're getting very near Dorking.
Oh, can't go around the blooming place looking for toothpicks in the dark, can we?
Certainly not. And if the place was paved with them, we couldn't see them. It's no dice in the dark, Charlie. Quills in Dorking, my hat. Ducks in Aylesbury, tartans in Scotland, and Murphys in Ireland.
Yeah, pretty vague, I reckon. But I got an idea, Mr. Hicks.
Don't tell me.
Look, this joker was driving a big bus. Big cars, as a rule, don't give trouble. Not them sort of jobs.
Yes, I get that.
Then, why does a car like that stop for water? You know that cottage we tried? One with the water can at the gate?
Of course I do. Well, now what?
I reckon that there water was a clue. That car was giving a bit of trouble. Exhausting water, that's what. Hotting up, in a manner of speaking.
By Jove, Charlie. There's a glimmer of sense in what you say.
If that is so, the car's going to call in a garage somewhere around here for help.
Charlie, you've had a brainstorm. If they stop at a garage, you think Barbara might plant a quill there.
You got the idea, Mr. Hicks? We can't do nothing there until daylight, can we?
Definitely not. Have to wait for the rest of the night in the pub. We can get into the Black Bull. I know the landlord. Incidentally, we are almost there.
Good. I've had this scare in the night in search of squills.
Quills, Charlie. Right. In the morning, we'll make a house-to-house visit to every garage in the town. You take one way, and I'll take the other.
Looking for quills?
Exactly. Devilish difficult. But I'm certain Barbara will leave a pointer somewhere. And, as your idea suggested, it'll be a garage in all probability. All right, we'll hit the hay for now and see what the morning brings forth. Can't do a thing till then.
Any luck, Mr. Hicks?
You mean quills, Charlie?
Of course.
This town of Dorking has more quills than a porcupine. There are feathered folk in every highway and byway, but none of them seem to be using toothpicks.
So you ain't run a particular toothpick to earth?
Not a sign.
Well, I have. At a garage. Way out into the main street.
My hat. How did you find it?
By elimination. Last one I called at. Had a good look round, but nary a quill could I see. Then the lad comes down and asks me what I want, see? So, to give myself another chance of a screw at the place, I asked him for a tin of lighter fluid.
And then?
Why, he goes up to the office to get it, and I follows. And there on the desk is a quill stuck through a bit of paper. I goes to grab it, but the bloke tells me hands off, it's private. Waiting for a certain caller. I don't know what to say about that, so I'll exit back here.
Well done, Charlie. Come on. Lead me to that garage, and then disappear. Good morning. Fill her up, will you?
Yes, sir.
I have an appointment in Dorking with a lady. She said she'd leave a message here for me where to find her.
Oh, yes?
I unfortunately left town very late. The lady'd be rather late too, I suppose.
Yes, a driver woke me up at midnight. Fan belt trouble.
Did the lady leave a message? She'd probably pin it together with a quill toothpick.
Now, look here, there was a cove here earlier this morning. He saw that thing on the desk in the office. You any connection?
Well, not to my knowledge. The message would be addressed to R.F.
Well, this one ain't.
No?
That'll be 14 mob, mister, for the petrol.
Right, here's £1.
Change in the office.
All right, I'll come with you.
Oh, no, you don't. You won't have a deck out that message.
But it might be for me. You see, I knew about the quill.
But the initials aren't R.F.
Well, let me have another guess. Would they be G.G.?
Crikey, you must be the gent. OK, I'll bring it. G.G. it is. Hold on a moment. There you are.
Thank you, son. You've done me a good turn. Seeing you later, I think. By the way, did the lady seem worried?
Oh, I reckon so. While the driver and I fixed the fan belt, she was sort of pacing up and down, anxious-like.
I can imagine she was cursing me for being late. Well, thank you. I'll get along.
Get it, Mr. Hex?
Yes, almost. Look, just a scrap of paper, quill and all.
What's on the paper?
Dean Hall. Must be the name of the house. But where the devil is Dean Hall? Come on, Charlie. On the trail again.
And so Rolland Fletcher follows a very tenuous trail in search of Barbara Faversham, whom he fears has taken a very dangerous risk. To follow the continuation of the trail, listen to the next episode of The Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
I found an agony column ad in Barbara Faversham's flat. It concerned her father. It promised information if she'd keep a certain appointment. Recklessly, she obeyed, and I, fearing the worst, set off with Charlie Austin, hoping to catch up with her. The trail started at a coffee stall on the embankment, and there I learned that she'd bought a lot of toothpick quills from the coffee stall keeper. Quills, of course, immediately associated in my mind with feathers, and thus I knew she was not altogether satisfied in her mind. The coffee stall man said her escort was impatient, and inadvertently mentioned Dorking. With this slender clue, Charlie and I set off, and, on reaching Dorking, found another clue which indicated her destination.
Dean Hall, Mr. Hex. Where'll that be, do you think?
Haven't the faintest notion, Charlie.
You know, I'm just wondering if we ain't bothering ourselves for nothing.
That's what I thought at first, but then I say to myself, why the quills? No, she wasn't very happy when she met whoever she did meet, and then had the brainwave of leaving that trail behind her.
Ought to be spanked, running off like that.
You never said a truer word, Charlie. You and I will see to that little matter.
If we find her.
When we find her. All right, now, let's ask someone where Dean Hall is.
Hey, you!
Yes?
Know where Dean Hall is, chum?
Dean Hall? I reckon that's Councillor Dean's place, a mile up the main road. Big red house. 2-story place, you can't miss it. Got bars on the windows.
Bars? What, the councillor lives in a jail?
But he's always scared of burglars. He's a rum sort of a cow.
Must be. Thank you very much.
Don't mention it.
Happy state of affairs, I reckon. Bars? Cool. I hate some.
Jolly hard to get out of, Charlie.
That's so. I might be hard to get through, too.
Well, I think we'll walk to Dean Hall, Charlie. If Barbara's there, we'll have to find out whether she's there of her own free will or not. Somehow, I think it's the latter.
That's the idea. But if she's staying because she likes it, we've had our trouble for nothing.
Exactly. Do you know something, Charlie? I think we'll postpone our little visit till after dark. If things aren't all right, I'd rather not be seen from any of the windows.
After all, we've got a good bit of scouting to do.
Well, that's okay by me, Mr. Hex.
Careful, Charlie, is the word. My hat, what a terrible-looking place. Blatant, nouveau riche and all that. The gate's closed. Not a glimmer of light.
Mr. Hex, what's that white thing in the hedge by the gate?
White thing? Well, have a look, Charlie.
Oh, a blinking handkerchief.
Yes, let me see. It's a lady's handkerchief. It's got a quill, too, Charlie, threaded into it.
Another bit of the trail, eh?
Well, that shows Barbara's been through these gates, all right. This is definitely another pointer, Charlie. We are getting hot.
Do we go in?
We do. But bar that handkerchief, we've no clue that we've caught up with the lady.
We'll have to tackle the house itself.
Exactly. But those barred windows are not too inviting. If I make a guess, they also indicate burglar alarms in the doors in addition.
Could be.
Keep low. These grounds are very dangerous. We can be seen from the house.
Better make for the shrubbery, I reckon, don't you?
Yes. Quite near the front door. Good cover, too. Right. Give it a go, Charlie. A bit of run. What the devil was that?
That, Mr. X, was a shot from a man-trap. I fell over the blooming wire that set it off.
Good heavens, it might have killed you.
That's so. Blooming illegal it's supposed to be, man-trap. Makes a burglar take his life in his hands.
Well, I suppose we can expect some action after that racket. Better lie low for a while and see what happens.
Do you see what I see?
Yes. 1, 2, 3 lights in windows. That shot must have wakened the house all right. Don't breathe. Someone will come to see what's happened. Nothing's more certain.
This way, sir. That was number 2, I'm certain.
It was certainly one of the guns. Probably the one by the shrubbery.
That's torn it. What do we do now?
Clear out, Charlie. Make for the back of the house if you can. I'll go the other way, and I'll make a bit of noise while you vamoose. Skip now.
If there's anyone behind that shrubbery, come out. My man and I will fire if you don't.
I, sir, am behind or in your shrubbery, and I don't like it a little bit. Especially as you've set man-traps and such lethal gadgets around your otherwise charming grounds.
Come out or I shoot.
Very drastic methods, sir. If I may say so, do you ordinarily take such precautions against casual visitors?
Yes. When those casual visitors come late at night and hide in shrubbery.
I had no intention in hiding in your shrubbery. But when crossing your lawn to present myself at your front door, a shot's fired, I naturally dived for cover, and there you have it.
Well, who are you? Come out where we can see you. There'll be no more shooting. What you heard was a shot from a man-trap. You must have caught one of the tripwires with your foot.
I should be grateful, I suppose, that I wasn't shot.
What did you want to see me about?
Do you think now is the moment to talk about that? I assure you I came on business, but this reception is such that I don't feel equal to discussing it. So, with your leave, I'll return to Dorking, where I'm staying, and present myself in the morning.
I don't like prowlers.
I am no prowler. And if you let me call in the morning, I shall have great pleasure in stating my business, Councillor Dean.
You know me?
Well, of course. Or rather, of you. Why should I call here if I didn't?
Why can't you state your business here and now?
My dear sir, after the salvo of welcome you recently accorded me, I don't feel like staying. If you'll be at home in the morning, I'll call and discuss my business then.
What's the business about?
I'm sure you'll be interested when I mention the name of Brian Faversham.
Brian Faversham?
The very man. And now, if 10 o'clock tomorrow morning will suit you...
Very well. Maybe you prefer to talk tonight.
I would not prefer it. For tonight I've had it, as we say in the army. Good night, Mr. Dean.
Hawkins, you'll see this gentleman to the gate and shut it after him.
Very good, sir.
As for you, whoever you are, I shall expect you in the morning. Good night.
Hawkins, I don't like the methods you employ up at the house. Guns and whatnot.
Is that so?
Yes. I suppose you are Mr. Dean's confidential man and so forth.
I am.
I feared as much. I was going to ask you some questions before I see your boss in the morning.
I don't answer questions, so don't waste your breath. I'm seeing you out, and that's all. And here's the gate.
Very terse and to the point. Just before you show me out, were you in the army ever?
No. I was exempted.
Fine. So you wouldn't know this trick, would you? You see, Hawkins, I was in the army, commandos and all that. I was in the army and I learned to spread-eagle a man like you are now spread-eagled and make him talk. How do you like it, eh? Not so good? Tell me, my good Hawkins, are you chauffeur, among other things, to Dean? Answer.
Yes.
You kept an appointment at Westminster Bridge last night with a young lady. Answer.
Yes, I did.
And drove her down here?
Yes. Oh, for heaven's sake, take the pressure off. It's all right, I'll talk.
Yes, all right. Talk, but don't yell, or by heaven, I'll choke you.
I said I'd talk, didn't I?
Yes, you did. So now tell me more. You had engine trouble?
Yes. Fan belt. I stopped for water at a cottage in Gresham.
Yes, I found that out myself. Now, what I want to know is, when is the lady you brought down?
I don't know. Is the boss...
Mr. Dean?
All right, Mr. Dean. He meets us at the front door, takes the lady inside. I drive the car round to the garage.
And then you came around the grounds and set the alarms and man traps?
Well, yes.
Why?
Answer! Oh, no, Mr. Dean had been nervous for weeks. Oh, burglars and all that.
Burglars, rubbish. Mr. Dean is nervous. But why?
Well, how should I know? I reckon he thinks someone's after him, maybe.
Who? Why?
I can't say. He's a councillor and a public man and not too popular. Oh, someone with a grudge, I reckon.
Your reckoning, my friend, is as accurate as Greenwich time. All right. I don't think you know any more. Enough to keep on questioning you, at any rate.
Mr. Hicks.
That you, Charlie?
Yes, it's me.
Where did you get to?
I did as you said, the most. And then I saw a chance. His nibs was talking to you. Probably forgot the front door, so I thought it was his opportunity knocking, as it were, and I nicked inside.
Good. Now, Charlie, we've got a body on our hands, which I must dispose of.
No, you're not going to...
Murder you, Hawkins? Well, not yet, at any rate. Not while it suits me to keep you alive. Charlie, I must talk to you, and I don't want our friend to hear. What do I do?
The old commando trick. Stab him in the throat.
Oh, no.
A little drastic for now. No, I think we'll just use another old trick. Deafen him.
Easy. Now, come on, Cully.
No.
This won't even hurt.
Oh.
Accurate to a degree, Charlie. Right at the base of the oral nerve. Now, tell me what happened.
Well, I nicked in and gave myself a look-see all over the joint. At the first floor, I finds a locked door, too. So I says, anyone in? And sure enough, a girl answers and says, who's that? I says, it's Charlie Austin. And, she says,
Well, go on, what did she say?
She said, then easier. Accent on the ease. Looks as if I didn't cut any ice at all. I asked why she's locked in, and she says now she's been kidnapped and shut up in that room.
What then?
At that moment, his nibs comes in. Only just had time to duck down the stairs and out the back way. Suddenly, I hears you and this merchant making for the front gate.
Could you find the room again? From the outside, I mean.
Of course I could. Do you know, Mr. X, them bars on the windows are a bit of an help in a way. Easy to climb. Reach the upper window from the lower one.
Come on, then. Bring our deaf friend with you.
Rightio. And one word from yours, and I'll stuff a rhododendron bush down your throat, see? Get that? Oh, crocky, what's the use of talking? He can't hear a word. That's the window. Above this one.
Barred, too. Can't get through those.
You could still get up there and hang on. Maybe attract her attention.
So I could. Very well. You keep our friend company. Oh, confound it. I wish she'd got a light on. Top window, I think. Good. She must have heard me. There's the light on. By Jiminy! It is Barbara. Barbara! Barbara! I am here! Splendid. She's got it.
So it appears the chase on a very slender clue has not been in vain. Fletcher has located the errant Barbara, only to find her imprisoned. How is he going to learn the reason for this? Listen to the further developments of this adventure of the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
I was rather perturbed on learning that Barbara had obeyed an impulse inspired by an agony column par that indicated she would learn something of her father, at present in jail, if she kept a certain appointment. Fortunately, she very skillfully left a trail for me to follow, and with Charlie Austin's help, I ran her to earth in a house in Dorking, the residence of a bigwig on the council, a Mr. Harpur Dean. Charlie found she was locked in a room on the first floor. Unfortunately, every window in the house had iron bars across it. But scrambling up, I managed to tap on the glass and attract her attention. So, in a moment, the window was opened.
That you, Rolly?
Yes, it is me. And although this isn't the time for it, I'd like to spank you good and proper. How do you think I feel, clinging like a chimpanzee to these bars?
Sorry. I'll explain if you'll just be patient. I'm a prisoner. My room door's locked. And then, of course, the bars over the windows.
You're telling me. Now, hurry. We've got to find some way of getting you out of this.
Yes. I'm afraid I've got myself into a bit of a jam. But there's nothing much they can do to me. I think.
You think? All right. Let's have the strength of it.
Well, Harpur Dean is one of our 40 thieves, one of Dad's syndicate.
The devil he is.
Yes. And when I arrived, he informed me that he and some of his cronies had learned I was in possession of a few documents that would help to clear Dad and throw the blame in other directions.
Mr. Dean, for one.
Definitely. Rolly, you remember we settled the affairs of old Bradbury and that Mason man with the papers you found in Bradbury's safe?
Well, of course I remember. Bradbury was hammered on the stock exchange, and Mason skipped over to the continent with nothing in his pockets.
Well, I found other papers among Dad's effects. Dean is, I think, a bit shaky at the knees about something he thinks I know or might know. So he used that agony column to get me down here.
Oh, you were a terrible mug not to see me first.
Oh.
However, there may be nothing much you can tell him.
He seems to think there is. He's told me he'll squeeze it out of me somehow. I expect him any minute.
All right. Spar with him as long as you can. I'll be listening out here. I may hear something to our advantage. In the meantime, I'll drop back into the garden. When he comes, pull your blind down, but leave the window open.
Right.
There we go, then. All right. Still there, Charlie?
Yes. And I've still got Horace.
Good. Now we've got to put him somewhere safe.
There's an old cemetery down the road a bit.
That would be ghoulish, not to say foolish, Charlie. Surely there's a woodshed.
Oh, right behind you.
Good. Ram a handkerchief into his mouth.
There we go.
And shove him in there. Come on. Come on. Good. A nice stout chain on the door, too. There. Fixed it. That'll do very nicely, I think.
What do we do now?
I have to get up topside any moment from now. But there's a job for you, too.
A bit of action, eh?
Quite. You've got to get into the house when I climb up to that window.
Oh, easy. And then?
You'll go over the joint carefully, starting with Dean's study. Must have a study. There's probably a wall safe. Get every piece of paper you can out of it and bring it round here to me. All right, off you go. See you later. Hello. Just in time. There's the blind. Well, here goes.
This may look like a deputation, Miss Faversham. Let me introduce Mr. Warner.
Good evening.
Mr. Bligh.
Good evening.
I'm afraid I'm a little in the dark.
Good heavens, there's 3 of them.
We are here to enlighten you, my friends and I.
I'd be very pleased to know what this is all about. I'm not used to receiving deputations in my bedroom.
We mean no harm. That is, if you do as we demand.
What is the demand?
That you answer our questions. We believe you are custodian of your father's effects.
Who else?
Quite a natural answer. You agree, gentlemen?
Yes, undoubtedly, yes.
Well, among those effects are, of course, his business papers. Returned to you after his unfortunate conviction.
Unfortunate? Criminal, you mean? Criminal miscarriage of justice.
That is by no means established. 12 good men and true gave an unprejudiced verdict.
I prefer my own verdict. And I do know, Mr. Harpur, Dean, that you were one of the syndicate whose crookedness ended in my father's disgrace.
So you do know something of me?
Of course I do. Not much, I'll admit. But I do know you're as crooked as a dog's hind leg. And I suppose your precious friends here with you have long forgotten how to walk straight.
You are talking very dangerously, my girl.
I assure you, Miss Faversham,
Don't assure me of anything. If ever I get out of this, I can assure you that I'll examine every inch of any documents I...
Then you have got documents concerning me.
I didn't say so. I was going to say I'd examine every document I could lay my hands on to see if I could find something about you.
Clever girl. We are certain you have specific information. We are also certain you left behind you a message whereby you were traced to my house by an accomplice.
Accomplice? What have I done to need an accomplice? You talk as if I were a criminal.
A man came here and mentioned Brian Faversham. He's to call here tomorrow at 10. Are you certain there's no connection between you?
How could there be? No one knows but you, I presume, that you've virtually kidnapped me.
Let's have no more sparring, Dean. Miss Faversham, you will speak what you know. You will also permit us to scan every document in your possession. Circumstances have arisen to render this necessary.
I don't see how you can compel me. You don't know where I keep them. If I do have such as you want.
There are ways and means of making you speak.
I've yet to learn them.
Be sure that you will. What was that, Dean?
Someone downstairs, I think. Hawkins, is that you? Hawkins! Hawkins! Where the devil is the fellow?
Better go and see, Dean.
I will. You stay with the girl.
Sounds as if Charlie's given the game away.
Now, Miss Faversham, don't be foolish. If you care to, you can leave this place at once. One of us will escort you and collect what we require, after which... Why, Dean, what's wrong?
My safe. The safe in the wall of my study is being cleaned out.
Impossible.
Impossible? Don't talk, rot man. I tell you it has. I've had a burglary here tonight. Come on. I have to search the house and grounds. You, Warner, take the house.
Right.
Bly and I'll search outside. Come on.
Mr. Hicks, we'll have to leg it. I knocked a vase over.
2 ticks and they'll spot you. Come on, quick. Up here on the bars. Barbara.
Yes?
Put your light out at once. That's it. We'd show up like pinned butterflies. Come on. Hang on, Charlie.
I don't feel too safe. Exposed like.
You're out of their vision. They'll never raise their eyes up this high searching the grounds. And in the house, they'll search every room except the one where we're clinging to the bars. Couldn't be better.
I hope you're right.
Here come the pack. Don't look down. Keep your face pressed to the window.
No sign, Bly?
Not yet, but I've shut and locked the gate.
I can climb over that. Better go and stand guard. Where the devil is that man of mine? Hawkins! Hawkins! Hawkins!
I say, Charlie, it was a grand idea gagging the worthy Hawkins. He can't answer back.
It was a darn good idea deafening him too, I reckon. He can't hear his mate calling to him.
Hawkins! Hawkins, are you there? Bly!
Yes! Warner, have you searched the house?
Yes, not a sign of anyone inside, except the empty safe and the door open.
Very untidy of you, Charlie.
Sorry I knocked the picture. It fell onto that blooming vase.
As a matter of fact, it's turned out very well. They've had to postpone grilling Barbara. Shh. Listen.
Oh, all right. Let's go inside. Whoever it was has obviously got away.
How wrong can you be, Mr. Dean? I think, Charlie, we'll wait a few more minutes, then fold up our tents like the Arabs and silently steal away. Barbara. Barbara, come over to the window.
I'm here. What a schmozzle, eh?
Yes, I'm sorry to inform you that Mr. Dean has had burglars. They don't know what they burgled yet, but they will very shortly.
Oh. You going?
Yes, but don't worry. We'll get you out of this before long. Idiot.
I'm sorry to have been so stupid.
There's no good crying over spilt milk, my dear, but don't go off on your own again.
I never will.
You stuck up your side very well as it happens. Now, Charlie and I are going to skedaddle. I don't think they'll disturb you again tonight, but just shove a chair under the door handle.
If I can't get out, they can't get in. That's one consolation.
Yes, exactly. Now, here's what you have to do. If they come at you again, very reluctantly, you give way. All your documents are safely cached, But you will offer to lead them to the third stone under the old oak tree, or words to that effect.
I see. I don't tell them where, but I'll take them there, etc., etc.
That's it. And for heaven's sake, stall them till tomorrow night sometime. Then you will set out, and I shall be waiting somewhere on the road.
But how shall I let you know what time we'll be leaving here?
Oh, yes, how?
I know. One of you come up the road immediately on 6 o'clock, and I'll push my handkerchief out of the window 7, 8, 9, or 10 times, and that'll let you know what hour we're leaving.
Good. We'll be outside at 6 p.m. All right, wench. Keep your pecker up. You'll be homeward bound tomorrow night. Or rather, this night. It's the small hours of this morning. And remember to pad yourself up.
Pad myself?
You heard. Charlie and Austin and myself are going to take alternate shots at beating some sense into you. Cheerio. Come on, Charlie. We have a long walk.
I think the back way, Mr. Hicks.
Better still. You one way, me the other. We'll meet 100 yards down the road.
That you, Mr. Hicks?
Yes, it's I, Charlie. What's the excitement?
As I made for the back gate, I had to pass the woodshed. So I took a peep at our friend Honest.
Hawkins, you mean? Well?
He was banging on the door fit to bust it down and yelling at the top of his voice.
That's done it, Charlie. Well, we'll have to do the mile into town in even time. Come on.
And so the adventure progresses. What scheme now has entered the head of Fletcher to further confound the already confounded Councillor Dean? The next episode brings the termination of this activity of the Grey Goose. I have been here. The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Barbara Faversham, silly girl, answered in person an agony column advertisement and found herself a prisoner in Dean Hall. Clambering up the barred windows, I learned that the very esteemed Councillor Dean was demanding documents which came to her after her father's conviction. Through the barred window, I managed to suggest to Barbara that she acquiesce and pretend to lead the eminent Mr. Dean to where the documents were. In the meantime, Charlie Austin, my right hand, had abstracted the contents of Dean's wall safe. Well, I've been through the lot, Charlie, and glory be, I've got enough to hang Mr. Councillor Dean and his partners Bligh and Warner. No wonder they wanted Barbara's files.
What do we do now?
Charlie, old scout, I think we shall take a stroll through this very enchanting town, the council of which has the honour of having as one of its members no less than Mr. Harpur Dean, crook, thief, and whatnot.
Just as you say, Mr. Hicks. And don't let's forget 6 o'clock. We've got to get the signal at that there Dean Hall.
We won't forget, Charlie. In the meantime, we promenade. We have a glimpse of various buildings, all undertaken, as you'll observe on the notice boards, by Warner and Bligh. Architects and builders, contractors, etc. Note that, Charlie. It's a very important factor. You're sure she waved her handkerchief 10 times?
Dead sure. 10 o'clock, she meant.
Well, we'll stop here, I think. How far from the house do you make it?
About half a mile.
Good. Pull up, but leave the engine running.
Pull up, she is.
About a minute to go. Now, you know what you have to do?
Yep. As soon as the car comes in sight, I'll back across the road, stall the engine, and block them from going on.
All right. Well, I'm getting out now. I'll walk up about 20 yards, keep in the shadows, and join you at 0 hour, eh?
That's the ticket.
See you in a few minutes. Well, this is it, Mr. Dean. Lights coming this way. The same big car, or I'm a Dutchman. Yes, the same. Now let's hope Charlie does his stuff. Obviously, he has.
Here, what the devil do you think you're doing with that car?
Oh, sorry, mate. Just trying to turn around and make my blighted engine stall. Give us a go and I'll get clear any moment.
Well, get a move on. You've completely blocked a highway. Nothing can get past.
Which, Mr. Dean, is a most fortuitous circumstance, as it gives me the pleasure of renewing our acquaintance.
You? Didn't I find you in my shrubbery last evening?
Indeed you did. We had a little converse, if I remember rightly, although you couldn't see me.
I know your voice, though. You were going to call this morning at 10.
Instead, I've waylaid you at 10 tonight.
Then this is no accident?
No. I'm glad you have Miss Faversham with you. Somehow, Mr. Dean, I think you're going to be sorry you kidnapped the lady. You are Miss Faversham, I take it?
Yes, I'm Barbara Faversham. Who are you?
Forgive this mask. It so happened to come to my ears that Mr. Dean, Mr. Harpur Dean, was not, as it were, playing cricket, a thing I deplore. Thus my interference.
What's all this twaddle about? And who are you?
I, just a freelance buccaneer, highwayman, and what you will. Some people have referred to me as the Grey Goose.
The Grey
Goose. Silly, isn't it? However, Mr. Harpur Dean, as I've said, the Grey Goose doesn't always steal. Sometimes he just butts in on somebody else's behalf. This is one of those occasions. All right. Now for a little action. Charlie!
Here, Mr. Hicks.
You will drive Mr. Dean's car. You know where. Miss Faversham, you can drive?
Yes, of course.
You will, in that case, have 2 passengers in this car, Mr. Dean and myself. You'll drive to an address I've written on this paper. Please get started. Charlie, off you go.
Righty-ho.
Now, you, Miss Faversham, please start.
What is all this? I'm a councillor of Dorking. You can't harm me.
But I can. I can reduce you from the council to the garbage cart like that.
Why? How? Here, what are you doing?
Bandaging your eyes and tying your wrists. I have an idea, a distorted idea if you like, but I don't like people of your caliber to see and know my address. My dear Dean, don't be silly. I know 50-odd tricks, some of them very painful, for breaking down resistance. Good. Now, are we all comfortable? Nothing to say? All right. Yesterday, by a ruse, you virtually kidnapped Miss Faversham, didn't you? Thus, you cannot have any serious objections to suffering the like inconvenience. Or have you? Still silent, Dean? I suppose you're not related by any chance to one Maitland? Oh, well, I shall have to content myself with just the silence of Dean. Do excuse me.
Now you've had your inane joke, kindly tell me what this kidnapping means.
It's a form of reprisal for your kidnapping of our young chauffeur, Miss Faversham. It is also to enable you to see certain papers in which you were so interested that you decoyed Miss Faversham to your house.
How the devil do you know?
My dear Dean, I was there in person, so don't trouble to deny it. Well, we're nearly home now. And, Mr. Dean, please maintain the Maitland silence from now on. I assure you I do not hesitate to ensure silence when I require it. Will you behave, or shall I exert one of my little artifices?
I'll keep quiet.
Good. And, for being so good, you shall see those papers you were so anxious to obtain. Sorry to keep you waiting, Dean, but we've had a bit of searching to do. However, I've no doubt my little friend entertained you well.
Well, that's the whole lot. I've read the deed of partnership between my father and Mr. Dean, in which they agreed to finance a contracting firm called Warner and Bly.
To put the matter in a nutshell, you, Dean, are now a big bug on the Dorking County Council, and you're afraid that a partnership with a convicted man, now serving a sentence, will prejudice your standing. And in order to lay hands on this document and destroy it, you kidnapped the lady and subjected her to insult and whatnot.
I realize I could have gone about the matter in another way.
When are they going to make you mayor, Dean?
I was up for selection, unopposed, as a matter of fact.
Of course. A very strenuous opposition might arise if we sent this document to the clerk.
It would ruin me. Look, let's talk this over like men. Take that damn mask off your face.
I always flatter myself it suits me. But don't worry. After tonight's bargain is concluded, you will go your way, and I shall go mine. If ever we meet, you'll not recognize me, and I certainly will be too fussy to recognize you.
You mentioned a bargain.
I did. Have you a checkbook with you?
Oh, blackmail.
Yes, more or less. In exchange for this deed you are so anxious to possess, you'll write a cheque for £2,000.
£2,000?
Made out to the Dorking Orphanage. Do you agree to the exchange, Miss Faversham?
Under the circumstances, yes.
Ready, Dean?
All right. Give me a pen.
Ready to hand. Incidentally, your motor license.
What do you want that for?
I just want to see that the signature on the cheque is the same.
Smart, eh?
Good gracious, yes.
Here's the cheque. Now the deed, and I'll trouble you for the contents of my safe.
Less £200 in cash for expenses. You've given us a lot of trouble, Dean.
All right.
Here are your other bits and pieces. You'd better look them over. Well, count them if you like. They're all there.
Yeah.
Quite illuminating, aren't they, Dean? My hat, wouldn't it be terrible if some of those little transactions came to the ears of the honourable councillors of Dorking, eh? All right. Now then, we'll just get an envelope for your cheque. Here you are. Address it yourself.
I think I'll send this direct to the town clerk.
Do so. And when next you see him, he might buy you a drink on the swindle sheet. Ready? Now, we'll just adjust that bandage over your eyes. So, Charlie and I will escort you to the nearest pillar box, and you can post your cheque. You'll hear from me later, Miss Faversham.
Have we done wisely, Rowley, in letting him have that deed?
Yes, my dear. The first thing he'll do when he has the chance will be to burn it. Thus, it's no longer dangerous to him. It can't hurt your father, and you are safer not holding it.
Why did you give him back the papers from his safe?
Aha! Now we come to a piece of larceny which puts the cream on an otherwise very ordinary cake. My dear, the contents of that safe were dynamite. They were receipts, building contracts, and whatnot, mostly concerning council works, buildings, school premises, etc.
But
the eminent firm of Warner and Bly tendered for everything. High or low, they got the contracts. Fine thing for the sleeping partner, Mr. Harpur Dean, eh? But not so good for Councillor Dean were it to come out. He knew, as a councillor, the figure the council would accept, and thus Harpur Dean adjusted matters.
then why not expose him? Why give the documents back to him?
I have exposed him. I didn't give him all his own papers. While you were entertaining him in here with Charlie, I made copies of 2 of the most flagrant cases on your typewriter in your flat. These copies I poked into his package, all the papers from his safe, which I've just given him, and I kept back the originals.
I see.
Yeah?
You're going to send them to the council.
No, Barbara, my dear, I'm not going to send them to the council. They've been sent to the council, and it was he who sent them. I slipped them into the envelope with the cheque. He posted it himself. I watched him do it.
And once more the Grey Goose scores a little triumph. A crooked councillor is exposed, and another name is crossed off Barbara's list of 40 thieves. But the world is wide and villainy unlimited, and its ever-present challenge is gladly met by